So today in the United States is Flag Day. And if you watch the link I put in Real Men Shows, it tells you the history of the American flag. And it's interesting. Now, being a fan of history, I've learnt one thing. Never die for fabric. You know, they give you a whole bunch of wonderful rules when you enter the military about it. Never touching the ground and whatever. Never die for fabric. You can buy some more for $10 from China. Never die for fabric. You know, someone wants to burn it, get another one. $10 from China. It's a flag. The weird thing about flags is you go back through history, and I feel like Sheldon, fun with flags. Everyone's had a flag. Everyone's been fighting under the flag. A flag never won a war. And a war never won a peace. A good example would have to be North Korea. There you had an armistice, which is a cessation of hostilities. Okay? That just meant everyone put down arms. Well, you couldn't say that was the end of the war. Why? Because you didn't negotiate a peace agreement. Everything has to be a negotiated peace agreement for it to be successful. You can fight for 1,000 years and still lose. Give an example. We lost the First and Second World War. How is that possible when every book you ever read in school told you we won it? Well, the First World War was to stop the Kaiser from uniting Europe under a strong Germany. Second World War, Hitler, from uniting Germany with the rest of the Germanian people across Europe and imposing his German will. So what happened when the Berlin Wall fell? Well, the first step was unification of Germany. Fine. Germany was in the midst of the EU. And what happened? Germany united the EU. Now, I'm not going to say whether the POM should exit or not. Brexit. But, you know, on the whole and in the main, the whole purpose, we were so determined in the Second World War to stop Germany from uniting Europe, we actually divided the city of Berlin between 3 superpowers. Well, 4 if you include the French, but nobody does. So, you know, you can go to war and 100 years later you lose. The people who do best out of war are the people that do the best job of the peace. For example, when Marshall got told the plans for Germany, he disobeyed his orders and he told them to go get, right? What became the Marshall Plan was where he rebuilt Germany. But the Americans' plan for Germany at the end of the Second World War was to do unto them as they'd done to everybody else, which would have resulted in millions of Germans being killed, murdered, disenfranchised, forced as gypsies and homeless people across Europe. And he said no. His Christian values didn't allow him to obey those orders. So basically they went back and they gave him new orders. Nobody ever mentions the fact he disobeyed orders. You know, I mean, he got his orders, he got his plans, and he said no. Wow, I love this razor. I'm just getting to BBS enough glide left. So I know some of the people out there are going to be military and they're going to say, well, you never served. You're bloody right I didn't. See, the purpose of government's to keep you alive. If we're going to institute governments that are going to get us killed, let's get new governments, because the whole purpose of government is to keep you alive. Now, yes, I'm aware just recently that a few Muslim fundamentalists, yes, I'll use it even if the President of the United States won't, balmy fundamentalists that read one book, take a 700 AD interpretation of it, and quite frankly have nothing on their mind but evil wickedness, they're eventually going to lose. They're going to lose because you've sent over, 500,000 troops to the Middle East. They're not going to lose because you decide one day just to nuke the Middle East, right? Which is, everybody's thought it. Let's just go bang, 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 and when the smoke clears, whoever's alive dies 6 months later. Still not going to win the war. You can't win a war against ideas with arms. You never can. You have to defeat them with a better idea. Now that is how the United States defeated communism. That and sending them broke, telling them they were inventing Star Wars, Good plan, Ronald. About the only thing Ronald Reagan ever got right was lying his face off about how good his Star Wars was. But the point is, it's a piece of fabric. Don't die for it. Live for your fellow man. Live to make the world a better place. Live to show that your ideas are better, and you win. If you don't live, if you stop going on holidays because they've got a terrorist watch alert for a country and there's a chance that a few of you are going to die, then the bad guys win, right? If you don't travel, if you are bunkering down and buying the seeds and you're buying the food, those seeds are going to go off, the food's going to go rancid, and you're going to lose, right? You can't. The only way to win is to be a better person. A better person is how you win. It's how you win as an individual. If that means turning off the TV so you're not constantly bombarded, guess what? I've gone about 9 months now without television and my life is fantastic. Every now and again when I get told some new bit of bad news, I can go, yeah, well, there you go. And I get slightly informed enough to go, well, that's something I can ignore again. Bad news was never made to be global. It was never made. That's why terror in terrorism works today, is because now news networks can flash it all over the world, and our politicians on both sides will use it to their advantage and to our disadvantage, because their solution always involves you dying, and that's not a solution that ever won a war. I'm Stevie Daily Shaver. Remember, good food, good friends, good shades, amen. And while it's nice to be important, it's far more important to be nice. Be nice. Love the flag, whatever flag you're under, but remember that flag is only good for a pillow and keeping you warm. I'm Stevie Daily Shaver. Good shaves and goodbye.